Hi there, I'm Natasha Tessier, owner of Dwell Realty and Design. Welcome to my channel. Today I have some awesome special guests. They moved here from California. They were clients, which became friends, which now Nancy is working and Life is doing a bunch of the construction work for a bunch of my clients that want to remodel. And it's just been a really cool thing for me and to know you guys. So today we wanted to talk to you about what Californians regret about moving to Texas. Okay, so I'm going to ask you guys questions. You guys want to introduce yourselves and just kind of tell us when you got here and a little bit about your journey, and then I'll kind of drill you with some questions.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
My name's Nancy. And
I'm Life. Hi.
And we actually came to explore Texas for the very first time in September of 2021.
Right.
And on that trip, it was a 3-day trip. And on that trip, we chose to just move. And we bought our house in December. I think we reached out to you in like October.
Right.
And then by December, we were living in Texas.
And they were like the most decisive people. They were like, called me up and they're like, we want this house and we want this area and and I was like, okay, let's go do that.
We liked working with you because you were on top of everything, and that's why I made it so easier. Like, I mean, if you think about it, you're moving states and you're completely changing your scenario.
Yeah.
In a 3-month span, we done. We're like,
Get up and go.
yeah. And I mean, you got to count, it's a month to close. So technically our pick and choose was weeks, 6 to 7 weeks. And then it was like, close it. And then we were moving here.
And I can see your house is remodeled behind you. And it was already a really cool house, but now it's even cooler because
we're having fun with it.
Okay. So tell me first, why California to Texas?
I think it was, the main reason to me, honestly, was that governor has no idea what he's doing. And the thing is,
he's very honest, guys.
We're raising 2 boys, right? We're raising 2 boys. These guys are going to be fathers. They're going to leave their house in one day. And I wanted to expose them to like-minded people in a society that it's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how we were raised. And
when we came on that trip, it was incredible that in those 3 days that we were able to see the cultural difference between California and Texas. And it honestly reminded me of what California used to be like.
Right.
And for my boys to pick up on the kindness and the respect and the cleanliness, it just really, if it stood out to my boys, then it was obviously a big deal.
Oh, that's cool. So do you ever plan on going back to California?
No way.
after experiencing life here,
it's too good here.
Yeah. And it's all the main thing for us was just the lifestyle and how people really is here. And the extra perks is there's no state income tax. That's awesome. And just the ability to do whatever you feel like you want to do, because Texas is like business-wise is very friendly as well.
Yeah.
Life, tell them kind of I know you're a firefighter and all that, but tell them kind of your little side gig that you've picked up on, how you kind of have been super busy with that.
So before I joined the fire service, I thought I was going to follow a path of becoming a general contractor, because that's what I started doing about 14, 15 years ago. And, in 2008, Nico was born, and then there was this recession. There's no more work. So that's when I did a switch of careers, became a paramedic firefighter. Mm-hmm. But that construction side always caught my attention because I like it. I enjoy, developing
and
you're good at it.
Yeah. I like working with my hands. So it was great. So moving here, saw the opportunity to take on projects, and basically overnight, we created a company, Element Construction.
It is so easy. There's not all this red tape.
It was like, you want to build something? All right, here's your name. You're doing business as, and then here you go make people happy. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's do it.
It was really
cool. Not a lot of red tape.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's a very entrepreneurial, good economic, considering, where our world is at. People are still here.
Exactly.
Improving, spending, all that stuff. So,
yeah.
Okay. So let me see what else I have. Are you concerned that you guys overpaid for your house, or maybe even some of your friends that bought in the spring that moved later? Like, what's the consensus there with the California crew?
Yeah, well, we definitely in comparison to the others, we buying in the winter, starting our process in the fall and winter
Right.
was sweet. And so we did see in comparison, they paid slightly more per square foot. But we were also very diligent about like all the factors. So like the property tax, like being in an area that had a lower property tax. And so that was a way for us to stay within budget. And even for our friends who maybe paid a little bit more on house value compared to us, but they're in a low property tax area. So then their monthly payment is virtually the same.
Yeah.
Do you feel like now that when you haven't been here a whole year yet, but like when you're thinking, and I know the taxes are going up federally, but like when you think about your state income tax, all the taxing you were paying in California versus here, how does it kind of shake out?
Yeah, we definitely, well, I mean, honestly, we took a pay cut salary moving here, a significant one. But it's still our lifestyle has not changed from when we were in California to Texas. Now, part of that has to do with, the money that we were able to make from the house that we sold and still buy, at peak here in Texas, and we're still ahead. We think we did do the numbers. We advanced ourselves about 15 years financially by moving here to Texas. Yes.
It's,
so I mean, even with the pay cut.
And a huge part of it was working with someone like you that is so well versed and experienced of like, because if you come in here with no clue of, I heard that Woodlands is cool, but there's so many pockets and school districts. That's the first time I actually pay attention of like the value of a place per square footage. You're like, oh my gosh, coming from California, you find something for $400,000. You're like, oh, this is great. You're like, wait a minute.
And you're in a shoebox.
Yeah.
That was my next question is how is your house and like your land? Do you have more land here like versus where you were there?
Yeah. The house is bigger. The land is almost 3 times as big, and I mean, now we don't know what to do with so much land.
We lived in a newer frac home.
There's different
in California. And the square footage actually was pretty much the same. The lot was definitely a lot smaller, but the city that we live in, we would never have been able to afford to live in a community like the Woodlands back in California.
No way.
This home, if it was in Cali, it would have been at least $1.5 million. To $2 million to be in a community like
that close to what?
Absolutely.
Because of the school district and the amenities and like it comes to place a lot of things. Like if you're within a fire district, there's like a certain qualification because it affects your insurance, it affects
everything.
Many. So when it comes down to the nitty gritty, those are the details you got to pay attention to. You gotta get involved with someone that really knows what he's doing. Otherwise,
and Brenda was great. Brenda really helped that.
Absolutely.
She's very good with that. So that, I think that the property taxes can be a little bit shocking to people, but I think you guys were super smart in that you got a little bit older neighborhood and kept it below, 2%.
We're at 1.7.
That's one of the lower ones. Most of
Mm-hmm.
them are 2.5 to 3, I would say. So, okay, let me think. Oh, and that was the other thing somebody pointed out, which I thought was a really interesting point. Like your state income taxes in California don't necessarily see that at work, but at least here, your property taxes are going towards like your kids are in good schools, the roads, the eco, like the structure, everything, you can kind of see it like, oh, okay, this is what I'm actually paying for instead of just paying it to the state and never seeing it again.
Totally. Yeah. I just went and registered my mom's car yesterday or got her plates. And she has an older car and in her California, her registration cost for $300. And here it was $90. And when you look at the fee sheets, in California, there's like 100 little, just nickel and diming for all these things. And when I started looking into it, I'm like, I don't even know what that grant is supposed to be for. Where here it was just so black and white. And so you're right. You do get to see where your money goes.
Feel like take property taxes out, but like groceries, gas, like day to day, do you feel like it's the same? Do you feel like it's less here? I mean, I know you're making less because your pay cut, but what about like the cost of goods and cost of like playing sports or
Yes.
registering your
Me-
car, those kind of things.
The one thing here, like especially for somebody that commutes like myself, gas price, right? I immediately notice is cheaper,
Mhm.
right? Now it's not like you're paying a tenth of what it is. You know, when something happens at the federal level, you know, thanks Joe, then we all get tapped into, even at a state like Texas where we produce our own oil basically.
Yeah.
But you can now there's kind of stabilizing. You can see it.
Yeah.
You have friends down there that we periodically send them pictures of how much we pay for gas, and they love it. You know, now when it comes, like if you're gonna go out and eat, it's probably gonna be just as comparable.
Yeah, it's about the same.
Right? Because you know, people here has to make a living. Now, when you're willing to invest into the local business, it's not a big deal because you know that these people are going to use it, you know, to supply to their families.
A lot of like locally owned, locally operated kind of stuff going on, which is really cool because you're thinking, oh, well, I'm supporting their family, you know?
Absolutely. 100%. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. What about the heat? Is it like, and this is, I mean, June and July, and now this week, this is like record like
Oh, it was like Game of Thrones when they say, you know, winter's coming. The people here were like, oh, just wait until the summer comes. So
I
we're
know,
like,
we kept waiting for it. We
Right.
honestly kept waiting for the worst of the worst.
yeah.
It was a bad summer. You didn't
And
think,
I know, I just feel so blessed that we
Yeah.
experienced the worst
Oh, it
summer in Texas.
because we didn't get rain, you know, so it like, I mean, rain keeps it kind of muggy here, but it keeps it like 92. Like this clear day, like today in September when it's 98, this is hot for us this late too.
No,
Right.
so it really, I've told friends, so my brother lives on the coast
Yeah.
of California. So a high day is like 82. And so he would definitely, you know, see the big difference speed. So if you're moving from the coast here, you're going to see a difference. But we moved from more inland Bay Area
Right.
and where they had 117
Yeah.
not too long
Recently,
ago
like a couple
during
weeks ago.
their heat wave.
Yeah.
So I'm not.
And we're chilling at 90 here. We're like,
Yeah.
oh, wow, that sounds terrible.
So getting into the hundreds where we lived was, I mean, that was summer. So heat wise, it's not nearly as bad as I
Yeah.
thought it was going to be. The humidity, I just sweat more.
Yeah.
You do.
It's just more
But
humid.
it's like anything. You really, you do get used to it, you know? And like, if you think about it, it's like you live in Texas. You don't live outside in Texas. You live inside. So you have air conditioning and stuff like that. And if you happen to be driving, you're in your car with AC.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I just don't want to sit outside at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a,
no.
But I will
Yeah,
say
no,
this, evening strolls. So we have this tradition every Friday night, we go down to the waterway
Oh,
and
yeah.
just walk the waterway. And because the woodlands is so wooded
Oh, that's
and
true.
there's shade everywhere, like you don't feel the heat. You definitely feel the sweat because of the humidity, but you don't feel the heat. So it didn't prevent us
No.
from going.
and now that it's like September, that once the sun goes down now, it's like
Yeah,
totally
it's
different than it was like
This
in,
morning was 72 in the morning.
yeah.
Yeah.
Next
Oh,
week it's
my.
going to be like 65. I can't wait.
Oh, that's
yeah.
cool.
I
Yeah.
watch the weather all the time because I do not like the heat. I've been here my whole life. I'm like, oh gosh, how many more
And
days?
to be honest, it's no different. When it was super hot back home, we'd be inside in
Yeah.
AC.
Yeah.
And in here, we're inside in AC. And the difference is we don't have rolling blackouts.
Yes.
Yes, I have
Yes.
seen that going on there.
Yeah. It's like like we don't have to worry about power or anything like that. You know, even when the Titanic sank, it has lights on. California probably won't. But
You saw that meme.
yeah, I love it.
That was a funny meme, I have to say.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know you haven't lived through, like, do you freak out over, like, everybody talks about tornadoes, which is really funny to me because I've never seen a tornado touch down here. Like a fence will blow over
Right.
wind. And I'm like, I have never seen a tornado. Now, hurricanes, that's a different story. I guess you guys haven't been here long enough to.
No, not for a hurricane. There was a tornado warning in the springtime
Oh,
because
yeah.
I got a notification from my kids'
Mhm.
school and I was like, how am I supposed to feel about this?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Didn't even know that my phone can tell me, oh, there's a tornado. Where it's like, what?
But so I don't, so I asked the teachers about it after, because I'm like, hey, we're new here. And I got the email and it said that you guys were taking them into a secure area, yada, yada. Like, should I be worried?
Yeah.
And they basically said that I guess they upgraded the system where now if there's a tornado, a potential tornado in a 30-mile radius, they have to send an alert. And so where it didn't used to be like that. And so that made me feel better. Yeah. But yeah, every neighbor that I've talked to, we were those neighbors asking those kind of questions.
And you're like, what's going on here?
Our neighbor told us during a hurricane, she said, do you just grab a glass of wine?
Or like if people don't have kids, they just leave town. They just let's drive up to New Orleans or unless it's going that way, which most of the time it does.
And that was part of our search with you is we really wanted to be, I know you can't have it like 100% certain, but wanted to be in a low risk area. And so you're too far away to be evacuated from water. You may lose power for a few days if you don't have a generator, but you don't have to get out of the town because you're not going to have a surge out here. You don't even have a surge 30 minutes in,
It's not like you're in Puerto Rico. My sister lives there, and right now they don't have power or anything because of the hurricane or whatever they went through. But even her is like, you're from here, you know it. You're kind of ready. And if you use your logic, if Texas was so terrible, covering all this natural disasters, there will be no Texas. I mean, it'll be all.
I know. Everybody's still coming, so it can't be that bad. What about snakes? Have you seen a snake?
Yes.
Quite a few, but they're little garden snakes. I mean, like
it was just in the springtime. Remember we saw that?
It's almost like there's a season. It depends where you live. Like we have a lot of yard and like there's a lot of green and stuff. And
y'all are kind of on land, and that's going to be more common than like in a neighborhood. Because there's a bunch of brush and stuff. But I mean, they don't like come into your house and start
no,
not at all.
They can care less about you.
And the one that I saw was dead.
Yeah.
So funny.
It got hit by a car.
And like you have like owls and stuff like that. They take care. Like
woodpeckers.
You live within an ecosystem that pretty well balanced.
Cicadas. They're not.
They're loud.
They're loud. They're not in season, I guess, right now, but those are loud.
They're like they're like a roly poly. You can grab it and they're singing in your hand.
And they buzz. So what has been the most shocking thing? Is there anything that anything you wish you could change or something that's kind of thrown you off guard?
What I tell a lot of people that the one thing that we regret about Texas is not coming here sooner. Basically. That we wish we could change. I mean, the heat, if it can be not hot as this all the time, but you get used to it. You know what I mean?
Coming. Give it a week or two, and then
everybody's going to do the same. I mean, you live here your whole life, and it's like, what will you change about Texas? But turn down the heat a little bit. Exactly. But other than that,
tell me about the people. Do you really think they're as friendly as everybody says? Did it freak you out at first, or were you kind of ready for that?
Yeah, well, we were those people back in California, and so we were the ones who would want to greet our neighbors and have gatherings and stuff like that. And so it's just nice that we're not like the weirdos on the block everyone's trying to get to know each other.
You said you worked out the other day in your garage or something.
Yes. And oh my gosh, my workouts, if I look at the neighbor who's walking and I wave, that's going to be a 30-minute conversation.
Workout done.
You better be almost done because you're never
I went down the street and met another neighbor who just moved. She's Texan, just moved into the area, and we had she invited me in for some tea, and we had a 45-minute conversation, just getting to know each other.
Texas tea.
And she's so sweet. But anyhow, it's really people really are very friendly.
I don't know if I would call it a shocker or anything like that, but one thing that we did notice that we were we loved it. It was the little kids, how they say yes ma'am, yes sir. Little kids, right? So that just gives you an idea of what upbringing you're dealing with, because even with adults, whatever, it's this automatic sense of respect and the proper way and everything. It's not lost. When you're there, it's like, what do you want? Yeah, dude. No, we don't. It's always a very clear sense of respect, which it's awesome because we want our boys to grow up exposed to that. So it rubs off on them. You know what I mean?
Are they liking it, the boys?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
They are thriving. And that's something that I didn't even really anticipate what happens so fast with such a big move, especially a sudden move. Have been really happily surprised how easy of a transition was. And part of it is because there's a lot of other transplants here too. So they're not the only ones with that story. And I will say some of my friends who have moved into different communities, like over like the one at Jacobs Reserve, they have like these super great community events where everyone comes out, you know, too. And so that helps foster that community, that sense of community. But then I have some other friends who haven't had that experience. And so we've just, we theorize that maybe it's because there's just not enough Texans on the block.
Yeah, maybe.
I know, like I'm in Wood Forest and I mean, 4th of July, we're not usually here. We go to my in-laws for the 4th, but there is like a massive parade in this neighborhood. And I mean, everybody's golf carts for miles and miles. I mean, it's shut down for the 4th of July. We're going to celebrate, you know.
Yeah. That thing is, that's what's awesome. Like they're very
prideful.
Like, proudful and like patriotic and like truly appreciate what they have here. You know what I mean? And that's important for us. You can't take stuff for granted.
That's awesome. Okay, Nancy owns a little boutique and I want you to share your little hats because I'm going to start giving the little tech. Have them.
I used to carry a California flag and now I've switched it over.
Who's that?
The Texas. Yep. It's genuine leather, genuine Texan leather. And then I have this one, We the People.
Yeah, we believe that you vote with your dollar. So you support the locals and like that's how it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Lipe has done a couple of my clients like remodels, right? And he's getting ready to look at one next week. And then he's done, for those of you who are doing like investments, he's done my whole flip. And when I say like he's over, like I was too busy and I bit off more than I could chew. And I'm like, I need help. Literally, he came in and was like, I got this. We're going to do this. I mean, it's been like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and it's like a full, when I talk about full, like windows, moving walls, adding closets, gutting the whole kitchen, ripping out cabinet, full remodel on this little house, and he's killing it. So if you get here, you want to like change things up.
Opportunity for sure. We should be almost done in there in a couple of weeks and it'll be ready to go.
Nancy, we'll have to do a little before and after thing to show.
Oh yeah, that'll be great.
Started out pretty rough.
Yeah, it did. And smelly.
Yeah, it was terrible. Well, I still have a COVID nose, so I kind of smelled something. I wasn't sure what I was smelling, but yeah, it was.
Oh, you know what? It's funny you said that because when we watched your video on YouTube, you were like, you know, kind of recovering from COVID right now and stuff like that. And you know, but I'm here and I told Nancy, her.
That's our realtor.
Yeah, her. Because it was like, look at this warrior here, like just pushing through, no big deal. The whole world stops, but I don't have to.
No, well, we
So-
won't go down the COVID road because my surgeon husband has all sorts of stuff to say about that.
Oh yeah, love
But,
it.
yeah, we treat it like a virus, and when we're symptomatic, we stay home and
Exactly. Yeah.
may or may not have had it. I'm not allowed to test in my house, so that's kind of the rules that I've been following, but I know I've had it because I can't smell or taste. So
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me, guys. That was awesome. And Nancy is now like my client care coordinator. So she's actually planning, we did one huge event in the spring for Topgolf. Now we're going to do family pictures for everybody out in Montgomery. So she's kind of helping coordinate all that. So good people to know. If you're moving from California and you're stuck, I'm sure they'd be happy to share anything or chat with you or help you out. So I thank y'all for being here.
Yeah, no
Thank you for having us.
All right, see you later.
All right, bye.